Ma. Eh? Is that what it is? Alrighty. Dear Diary. No, my name's not Veronica Sawyers. Let's try this again. What's up, loser? Imagine being a boring piece of paper, shoved between other pieces of paper and suspended by a string and some glue and even more paper. I'd envy you for not being able to feel a thing, but my masochistic nature likes it here. I've never been someone who tends towards calm, so I hope you suffer everything but. You know, there's really something to going outside and smelling the air, provided there's no smoke that gives you anxiety from that time you had to leave the city because of too much inhalation a good long while ago. But that sweet fall air, when it's not intoxicated, is itself intoxicating. I should probably water my plants. I've got a plant that's several years old, my pride and joy, my son, the only man I've ever been proud of. That's not true. I'm very proud of the cats I live with. Whenever I sit down and remind myself that to maintain good handwriting, one must write, I have no clue what to write, and inevitably just write about how I don't know what to write about, and then say some stupid stuff that I think is insightful, but then I'll look at it 2 years later and remember that I'm just that delusional. Do you mind? But nevertheless, the pattern continues. I'm nothing if not consistent in my unreliability. Every single time I think about making my own paper from scratch, I have to figure out what my paper would be made out of, and just trying to figure out is too many steps for me. So the last time that happened, I gave up and just started playing Sudoku instead. But I'm not good at Sudoku. I play the one where you click on one of the numbers. Let's say I click on the number 2 in the center left grid section thingy. It's going to light up all of the other 2s and the rest of the puzzle. Makes the game way easier. I got a Sudoku book from Dollar Tree, and physically solving Sudoku puzzles takes me way longer. I've solved in 15 minutes on paper what I've solved in 2 on my phone. Does that make me stupid? Whatever ghost is reading this, I hope this finds you in good health. I feel like we don't use that phrase enough anymore. It's in Pride and Prejudice, Hamilton, and other stuff, I think. That's all I'm aware of. I'm severely boring, I know. Someone my senior year of high school told me so when they learned that I'd read Pride and Prejudice 4 times. Here's the deal, though. Of course I've read Pride and Prejudice 4 times. You know what I've read countless times, though? The first Boxcar Children book. Do I remember anything from it? Yeah, the boxcar and the children. A lazy joke, sorry. But in all seriousness, whenever I couldn't sleep at night as a kid, I'd grab that book off my shelf, read the entire thing under my covers, put it back on my shelf, and go back to bed. All that, and I barely remember a thing. I remember a dog. What was its name? It was a Schnauzer, I think. Who cares? Did you read the Boxcar Children series? Not that it matters much. It's not like the books I read as a kid massively impacted my brain or anything like that. Another way I started my journals and diaries as a kid, and yes, I had a few, since I'm the worst at writing journals and loved starting over, which is why I have several Minecraft worlds with mediocre names all in stages directly before going to the Nether because I don't want to do it, was to begin the first entry by saying, "You are my new journal, you are my new diary, I got you from Claire's, and you have a denim cover and a lock on the outside of you that uses the same generic key as my Hello Kitty piggy bank." And then I wouldn't write in it for 2 years. That, or I'd write something in the very front, "Don't open," or "Pay me $10 bucks," thinking that would keep people away or something. Have you ever written a letter to your future self? I have. It's somewhere at my parents' house in one of those weird pink books you'd write your favorite color and stuff in. There's a letter to myself 10 years in the future, and I'm almost certain I wrote it before middle school, and I know that if the date hasn't passed yet, it will soon. If I find it, maybe I'll wait until it's been 20 years, just to spite my younger self for pretending to be a cat for so long after it was cute. Then again, I do have a love for my childhood self and how I really was just without shame, running around and hissing at strange relatives without a care in the world. Now I just hiss at the cats I live with. I'd talk about what I cared about. I didn't have a filter, no tact, no objectivity. I miss it a little. Not, never paying attention to others, but my inability to ignore my innate need now to be too self-aware, too insightful, is everyone around me having fun? Oh, that person looks a little sad, and I asked how they were, and they said great, but I don't believe them because I feel it for myself in a delusional manner, and now I can't have a good time. The same goes for being too loud in an Applebee's. Now, I know I shouldn't care. No one cares. It's an Applebee's. But boy, do I. All of that to say, as a baby, I would scream out of joy in restaurants, and honestly, I wish I could do that now. Anything at all that's cathartic. Sign me up. Not anything cathartic. Serial killers, for instance, may have a fascinating definition of what is and isn't cathartic. So maybe I'll just stick to screaming. That's fine with me. I don't need much. I'm a simple woman. Simple things amuse simple minds, as my grandmother would apparently say. But that's fine. The further I get in life, the more I've learned that I really need to come to terms with my mediocrity. I'm smart, but really not by much. After all, I know my brain. The processes it goes through to come to its conclusions. I know the manager. I know their policies. It doesn't add up. I have to big brain at every step. I'm going to trip and fall all the way back down at some point, and that's okay. Recently, I did just that. Not physically, I haven't fallen down a set of stairs in a while, but I did fulfill my own bad and stolen metaphor. And I don't really feel like I've started walking back upstairs yet. It feels more like I'm trying to climb up a slide and I'm wearing socks. Very fuzzy socks. On both my feet and hands. But it's alright, because that's just life. If I've never failed, then I've never lived, or as Shakespeare himself once wrote, if this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, or no man ever loved. But he wrote that about something else entirely. I just was thinking about how he said it. Also, I don't really care about Shakespeare, so I don't know why I brought him up. It'd make more sense to me to bring up a Jane Austen quote because, as we've already discussed, I'm boring. But then again, caring about Shakespeare wouldn't make me not boring, but it would just make me severely basic. Maybe I'd quote poems Robert Frost has written, as if it'd make a difference. How much worse can I make my taste? It'd take no effort, I'm trained. I'm Gordon Ramsay cooking a grilled cheese sandwich. I've got this. And yet, here we are. I'm going to stop making bad references and hope that I can finally think of something insightful to say. But something tells me that'll never happen. But for now, maybe I'll go to my parents' house and break open my piggy bank. Bye. Nick Help.